What is up, guys? Rick Hackus here, and I'm here to answer one question. Is the Vex Mythoclast really that bad? Now, in case you don't know, the Vex Mythoclast is a fusion rifle primary exotic weapon that you have a random chance of getting when you beat Atheon, the final boss in the Vault of Glass raid, on hard mode. Now, this was a recipient of a very controversial patch. This gun was being abused on PvP because it was frankly ridiculously overpowered, so Bungie nerfed it, rightfully so. However, this nerf not only affected PvP, but affected PvE as well. That's right, the hardest gun to get in the entire game was nerfed against goblins and just normal PvE enemies. So obviously, people were kind of up in arms about this. The community was pretty outraged, especially people who only play PvE, kind of like myself, and really didn't want the hardest gun to get in the game nerfed for PvE. People were going so far as to dismantle their Vex Mythoclast. But I'm here to answer the question that I'm sure you're wondering: was it really nerfed that hard? Is it really that bad? And the answer to that question is no. This gun is pretty damn good. Now, I don't really want to say this. I still want this gun to be buffed, but I have to be objective and honest with you guys that this gun, when I got it and I first used it, I was like, holy crap, this is a good gun. Now, I can't even imagine what this was like before the patch, because again, I used it and I was like, wow, this is a very, very good gun. Now, there definitely are some downsides I'm going to talk about in a bit when I talk about that I still think it should be buffed, but just objectively, this gun does phenomenal precision damage. You'll see that when I shoot a guy in the body, I'm getting maybe 121 damage, but when I get that crit, it's 368 or 364 or something. That is amazing. That like triples the damage. Very, very, very high critical damage. Not present on a lot of the other guns. Like the hard light certainly wasn't tripling its damage when you would get a headshot. This gun basically is. So it is very, very good in that aspect. An interesting feature of this that is kind of a downside, I suppose, is that there is no unique upgrade for this gun. Every exotic in the game, for example, let's take the hard light. Every exotic, just like the hard light, has a special upgrade just for it. The hard light has an upgrade called volatile light, which makes it so that its bullets ricochet on hard surfaces and also over-penetrate targets. Every exotic in the game has their second upgrade is always unique to that exotic. I can't find a normal purple assault rifle that has the volatile light upgrade. The Vex Mythoclast doesn't though. It's two upgrades, one to increase stability when you are shooting an enemy, and the other to increase damage when you kill an enemy to the next enemy or whatever. Those are found on normal purple guns. They are not unique to the Vex Mythoclast. Now, that's not really that upsetting. I'm not really that angry about that or anything, because the Vex Mythoclast is so unique. It's forgivable is what I'm saying. And another thing is that the Vex Mythoclast has solar damage. Anything with solar damage, or I should say any of the elements, especially if it's a primary weapon, is extremely useful for when you do stuff like the Nightfall that are going to have certain burns on. So if you have solar burn on, this weapon will shine. Now, the fact that it is solar is kind of, going against this, because you can get the Vision of Confluence, which is a solar scout rifle, from just beating Atheon on normal. It can function extremely well in the Nightfall, just like this gun. Another huge thing for this gun is that when you achieve the increased magazine upgrade, holy crap, does this gun ever have an increased magazine. It goes from 21 to 56 or 54 something. Like, it is like a phenomenal increase. This gun becomes like a heavy machine gun when you get that extended mag increase. It is such a noticeable and amazing upgrade, and that really creates an increase in power for this gun when you unlock that upgrade. Now, the purpose of what I just said was kind of to say, you know what, it's still worth getting. Definitely still try to get this gun. When you get this gun, you are probably going to like it. I know I did. But again, it still needs a buff, and the reason being is that, forget the cheeses, guys. Bungie didn't know about cheesing Atheon. This gun was designed to be the reward randomly for the hardest thing you can possibly do, and sometimes it's kind of underwhelming, especially if I'm fighting bosses or armored enemies. It only does like 182 for a crit. That's pretty poor. And objectively, if I completely forgetting everything and I was to pick a gun to bring into the raid, I would pick the Hawkmoon over this gun. So I would pick just a normal, happens to be PS4 exclusive, but I would pick an exotic hand cannon over the Vex Mythoclast, which again is the hardest gun to get in the possible game. That shouldn't be the case. This shouldn't necessarily be heads over tails every other gun, but it should definitely receive a buff. And the funny thing is that Bungie has in place a system that can account for PvE and PvP separately. I have no idea why they nerfed it for both at the same time. PvP only takes into account impact as damage. PvE times impacts with attack. So if you have a 300 attack gun, it's going to do much better in PvE. Obviously, upping the attack will increase it in PvE, but attack has no effect in PvP. So when they nerfed the impact for this gun, why didn't they just up the attack? That would have completely offset the nerf and made everyone happy. Again, some of the stuff Bungie is doing is completely beyond any of us. Another unfortunate thing is just thinking about it logically, how long has it taken? They still haven't buffed the Bad Juju or the Thorn or a lot of the other exotics that they said they would. So how long is this buff going to take? Another month? So that is another disappointing factor with this gun. But all in all, if you get it, I think you will enjoy it. I certainly did. It's worth getting, but I still think it deserves a buff considering just how rare it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe for more Destiny content. And as always, have a good day.